conspiracy to commit criminal damage. Now, what's weird about England is that trespass isn't a criminal offense. So you can't charge people with trespass unless you're in very specific circumstances. So they tried out this charge of conspiracy to commit criminal damage because it's about intention. It's a thought crime. Like, if I text you and I'm like, hey, dude, the bar is closed right now because of COVID. You want to break in and just like pour ourselves a beer? And you're like, yeah, let's do it. Like, we've committed conspiracy to commit criminal damage. Like, we've committed to the crime.
And how did it resolve?
Well, by the time we got to court, I mean, the prosecution was just in shambles. I mean, it was a total debacle because there was no evidence that we had broken anything,
because
we just trespassed. Yeah, but they spent, 300,000 pounds, I don't know, $400,000 of taxpayer money to run this prosecution, so they were going to see it to the end. So I pled guilty to, I think it was 4 counts of criminal damage, which included damage to a screw from a board that I had taken off and put back on to a vent shaft.
Ooh.
I know. Sliding open a window. Oh, that was aiding and abetting. So I'd opened a window for someone to crawl through. I mean, it was just like a list of ridiculous things, but they didn't care because they needed
needed a win.
But now I've got this criminal record in England.
So when you land, you get pulled aside if you go to England?
And then when I moved to Australia, I had the same problem. Like, they had put flags on my passport.
And you filed a complaint, and did it go through?
And I filed a complaint, and they fixed it. They took the flags off the passport. Yeah, actually saying, like, I did my thing. Yeah, like, why do I have to keep paying for this over and over again?
So
but it was really funny when they originally gave me my passport back. So, like, I go to court, and then the judge is like, Dr. Garrett, you're very naughty, or whatever. Here, take your passport back.
Do they have wigs on?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, the wigs are fantastic.
Really?
Yeah.
They still do that?
Yeah, they still do that. They're really good.
Wow, that's real.
Yeah. Yeah, the barristers all have their wigs, and they carry them around like a cat,
And then they have to put it on when they're
to put it on to do
that's
their formal
fucking
thing.
Bonkers.
But so they give me my passport back, and the next day I was supposed to fly to Sydney to go speak at the Festival of Dangerous Ideas. I was the obvious speaker, right? And I go to the airport, and the guy swipes it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you don't want to use this." I was like, "What does it say? What does the screen say?" And he said, "I can't relay that, but you should probably go." It gives me my passport back, and then
You should probably leave the country?
No, like, you should not get on a plane with this. Like, you're going to have a problem on the other side. Whatever he saw.
Well, how else can you travel?
Well, exactly. So then I missed my flight, and I had to go back. I had to go to the U.S. Embassy, and I'm like, I've just tried to fly with my passport, and it doesn't work. And the guy at the embassy swipes it, and he says, "Oh, wow." And then he gets out a hole puncher, and he goes tunk 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 right through my passport, and he says, "You shouldn't use that." And then, like, 3 hours later, they gave me another passport, and I flew out the next day.
And the passport's good. The new one's good.
It was fine. Yeah.
Wow.
But then I started getting stopped again, so they I don't know, tacked the flags on there later.
God,
I mean, it was a real ordeal. But the thing. I mean, it was traumatic for me, of course. I was, like, stuck in a foreign country, and, like, you get worried about your income. I was worried about they did try to deport me at some point, because once you have a criminal offense, they can try and deport you. So anyway, I beat that down.
Did they fine you? Like, what was the ultimate judgment?
Yeah, I think it was 2,000 pounds, about $3,000 I got fined.
Not too bad.
It's not a big deal.
I'm sure you made some money off the book. If not, you're gonna make some now.
You know what, dude? I made all the money that I made on my first book, Explore Everything, went to my lawyers, who I have to say were phenomenal. Like, they did a great job. But it was like every time I get a royalty check, I just sign it over to them, And it did seem like karma. It was like, well, I broke into all this shit, and then I wrote a book, and then the money went to the lawyers, and the lawyers got me off, and it all kind of worked out.